Welcome to my compost trial video, but before we get in, just a brief disclaimer. This trial reflects my own observations only and is not scientific proof or advice, and the results may vary depending on conditions. See full disclaimer in the description below. Right, let's get into it. This is a compost trial video comparing the biomass production of Borage over 55 days. Seeds were planted on the 14th of June 2025 and harvested on the 18th of August. At harvest, each plant was carefully removed from its pot. Both the roots and the above ground biomass were weighed. The aim of the trial was to observe how different compost treatments influenced growth under the same controlled setup. The trial used 5-litre pots, and each pot was filled with a base mix of 80% sterilized pumice and 20% compost, or according to the recommendations on the label of the product. All composts were measured by volume and mixed thoroughly in a tub and then portioned into the 5-litre pots. For consistency, each treatment had 3 replicated pots, so there was 3 of each type, and I put multiple seeds in each one so that at least one would come up in each pot. And the seedlings were photographed along a timeline every week or so. So first up, for the compost types, we have Yates Organic Dynamic Lifter. This is a pelletized manure-based fertilizer. It's made from the composted manure, blood and bone, fish meal, and seaweed. And for the trial, I applied 100 mils per 5 litres. On the back of the packaging, it says to use 10 grams per 150 ml pot. I looked at that and I thought there's not enough in here to give these plants the go that they'll need, so because the pellets were too spread out. So I went with the 100 ml. And then we got Dave's Organic Humates. This is a fine shredded peat-based material enriched with nutrients and humates. For the trial, I used 1,000 milliliters per 5 liters of mix. Next up is the Bokashi Compost. So this is one of the more well-aged composts in the trial. Came from the Grown2Nourish compost pile, so consists of food waste, coffee waste, bones, fish, biochar, fermented in Bokashi bran, then composted, then put in crates with worms. That's very similar to Johnson's Sue method, and it was just left to sit for about 4 months after composting, so it's very well aged. Then we have the Rhizophagy Biochar Compost, which is also well-aged material. It came from the same base pile as the Bokashi Compost. The difference was that I used oats and cycled oats through 3 times. So this is based off the Rhizophagy process described by Dr. James White. He does some great stuff on this on YouTube about the Rhizophagy cycle. So each cycle that I did involved just sowing oats, letting them grow for 2 to 3 weeks, and then turning them under and then re-sowing that. And I did that 3 times. The idea is to allow the oats to select for the microbial life that they want through the Rhizophagy cycle, and then put them under and they get decomposed, and that feeds the next lot of plants, which feeds the next lot of plants. Then we have the hot compost. So this was a younger compost compared to the 2 previous treatments. It was made from the same base recipe, like food waste, bone scraps, coffee, biochar, Bokashi bran. It was composted for 4 weeks thermophilically, and then it was rested for about 1 to 2 weeks. You should also note that these last 3 treatments of the composts were added at a rate of 1,000 milliliters per 5 liters, so it's 20%, same as the Dave's. The next treatment is a bit of a wild card. It was called the Biochar Bokashi mix. This was prepared by combining uncharged biochar with Bokashi bran at 50-50, and then allowing that mixture to just ferment for 3 weeks, kind of marinate and sit. And that was just intended to inoculate the biochar a bit, get it to absorb some of the nutrients from the Bokashi bran and allow it to kind of ferment and semi-break down. The bran didn't have much in it. It had a little bit of sawdust, coffee grounds, EM1 microbes. Now we got the results. So we're going to look at Yates. Now, Yates' first plant was 39, then they had this tiny little plant that was at 2 grams, and the next one's 22 grams. So alright, that gives us a total of 73 grams for Yates pelletized manure. Then we get Dave's. Dave's first guy was weighing in at 11, and then we have the next one at 8, and the next one at 4. You can see these look pretty small in that little container. Gives us a total of 23. Next up we have the Bokashi Compost. First boy's at 107, next one's at 82 grams. And to bend over some of the leaves, then we got 59 grams there. There they all are all lined up. That gives us a total of 248 grams. So we have H, the hot, 92 grams, 75 grams, and 100 grams, giving us a total of 267 grams. Then we have the Rhizo lot with 105 grams, 112 grams, which is the biggest I believe, and 73 grams, giving us a total of 290 grams. Dave's at 23 grams, Yates at a total of 73 grams, Bokashi Compost at 248 grams, the Hot Compost at 267 grams, and the Rhizo at 290 grams. Now, the results are shown here as they were observed in this setup and may not reflect outcomes in other soils, climate, or management systems. I'm not a scientist, and this was just a very crude trial to see how composts perform. Always a good learning experience. I hope you guys learned something. Rhizophagy cycle ended up on top, but it was a lot of work turning under the oats. But maybe they're onto something worth looking into. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks.